Hi, this is Trixiebella, and I'm with TheKateNextDoor, and together we're Trixie, and we're reacting for you today to some Dead by Daylight. And these are going to be more content preview trailers for you. And Kate is going to give you some more information about what these are going to involve today. Kate, what are we going to be reacting to?
Hi, I am TheKateNextDoor. We have the chapter 2 release. My bad. I knew I was messing that up. Chapter 2 release. The second chapter that was released after the game was released. And Trixie, if you do not get this killer from the very beginning, I might just cry.
Oh no, that's a lot of pressure.
Like, you have no excuse not to get this killer.
Okay, I will do my best. I will try to live up to your expectations. Oh god. I'm scared.
There's hope.
Kate, what are you doing? Oh no. Oh, Halloween. It's Michael. Right off the bat, I knew. Just with that little music.
Who is it?
It's Michael! We're at Haddonfield. We've got Michael and Lori. What? The shape.
This Halloween,
we bring back
the true meaning of horror.
I love it. Yes. Let's go. Look at that. The night he came home. Dead by Daylight.
Dead by Daylight, Halloween.
Yes.
So
I love it. There's the pumpkin, the lights for the police
I got
cars.
to this one and I'm like, but if I give her the link to this, she's gonna know who it is.
I love it. Yes. It's so cool.
Michael Myers, Haddonfield. Let's go.
Let's go. Yes. I knew it immediately. I didn't even need to see a thing.
This being released to the game when all they have had is original killers, and like the game's been released and it's been released for, that was probably 2017 that it was released, so it's been released for a little over a year, and they're suddenly getting Michael fucking Myers on Halloween. Oh
my god, craziness. Everyone had gone bananas. Just bananas. Wow. I mean, I remember Jar, you know, going, oh my gosh, I needed the DLC for this game because they're coming out with this killer. They're coming out with, you know, from Halloween. And then, you know, when they would come out with different packs along the way, I was, you know, this is coming out. Can I get this one? Can I get that one? But I remember this happening, but I wasn't playing back then. So I remember this being huge. But, you know, this is epic. She looks so different, too.
I do, too. A lot of people aren't happy with it, but I like it because you got the infinite houses, and yeah, the middle's pretty much dead, but you've got a lot of utility that you can use around the other parts of the map that survivors just don't take advantage of, and I find it more difficult as killer still.
Yeah, I like
especially with main house.
Yeah, I like that map. I've looped people up and down and in and around those houses from one end to the other, you know, and it's great.
Let's watch that Spotlight trailer that I've not seen yet.
Awesome. Let's do it. Intense violence. Behavior.
That grin.
Every time.
Halloween
comes with fun and games, with fake blood and screams that turn into laughs as you
this is Matthew's Cote this time.
Nothing is real. But what if one of those masks hid something much more real and terrifying?
Destroyed realty.
And this is the old map, so this is before the update.
Quiet little place where school kids could go for a burger late at night, or where you didn't lock your door. Instead, it's turned into a place riddled with fears and eyes looking over their shoulders. A town filled with questions about what truly happened that night. A place where playgrounds start to rust and pin drops can be heard during those empty nights. If you dare to embark on a journey in Haddonfield, you might stumble upon someone else in the dark.
There he is.
Michael Myers is the essence of evil, poured into a human mold and sent out into the world to induce pain. He bears no regrets and no empathy.
No empathy, no regrets.
There's nothing more classic than a knife, and a knife is Michael Myers' weapon of choice. It's swift and deadly and will never run out of bullets. Michael Myers comes with a new power called Evil Within. It is solely focused on tagging survivors as obsessions. As a survivor is tagged as an obsession, Michael's chances of catching and hooking that prey increases significantly. But as a survivor becomes an obsession, they too might get benefits. Michael Myers comes with 3 perks, and the first one
because
is
they made an agreement with
Save the Best
creators. They get with these producers, they build a contract, and create the license to use them in a specific manner. And that's kind of why Stranger Things is no longer a thing. They made the license, now Stranger Things doesn't want to continue allowing them to use that license.
Okay.
And it is at the discretion of the owner. So
it's unfortunate.
Well, it's technically at the discretion of both. If the game doesn't want to use the license anymore, they don't have to. They can remove it and stamp the contractor license closed, whatever they want to do. I don't think it would be void, but it could be void. Or the producers could come back and say, okay, we've allowed you to use this license so far, but we're pulling it. And I don't even think they have to give a reason, just that they're pulling it.
Oh my.
So that's what happened with Stranger Things, and with pulling it, we got to keep the characters and the stuff that we bought. But as of a certain date, that stuff goes out of the store, and the map that came with it was discontinued.
If you dare to embark on a journey in Haddonfield, you might stumble upon someone else in the dark. Michael Myers.
First they talk about him.
Of evil,
you went back a little ways,
poured
but
into
that's
a
fine.
Human mold and sent out into the world to induce pain.
He bears no regrets. This is cool.
There's nothing more classic than a knife, and a knife is Michael Myers' weapon of choice. It's swift and deadly and will never run out of bullets. Michael Myers comes with a new power called Evil Within. It is solely focused on tagging survivors as obsessions. As a survivor is tagged as an obsession, Michael's
pause it again.
as a survivor
Okay.
So interesting here, and I don't know if anyone else does this or thought this, but the way that it's explaining his power is that when he stalks people up, they become the obsession. But that's not how it works. I wonder if that was originally how it worked, though, and they changed it up. If someone knows, I would love to find out how that was originally done within the game. Like, did his stalking make them the obsession? I know that the game, like right now, the game gives someone the obsession. And I know before they started making it so that there was an obsession every game, where there was a possibility that no one would be obsession, I know that some of his perks made someone an obsession. But like him stalking you, did that stalk you up to being the obsession? That would be interesting to find out.
Good question. Because I certainly wasn't around then.
Yeah, but that's the way his explanation makes it sound to me. Like going through the explanation of his ability, it makes it sound like him stalking makes them the obsession.
Yeah. It did.
Okay.
I'll have to ask Jar. I wonder if he knows, because he played then.
Yeah, but that's not how it works today.
Right.
Just randomly, and whoever's the obsession is the obsession, depending on like certain things in the game. You decisive him, you become the obsession. Furtive chase, you take the obsession off the hook, you become the obsession, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Session, they too might get benefits. Michael Myers comes with 3 perks, and the first one is called Save the Best for Last.
Save the best for
Save the
last.
Best for Last gives you a decreased cooldown period on missed and successful attacks if you let your obsession stay alive. The
Pause.
second perk is Dying Light. The obsession's speed for altruistic actions are increased, but if the obsession is killed, other survivors are punished as repairing, sabotaging, and healing takes longer.
So with Save the Best for Last, it doesn't work the same way either, because it said that missed attack and successful attacks, there's a cooldown. It no longer works on missed attacks. There's a separate perk for that.
Okay, I remember seeing that.
Unrelenting does a lesser cooldown on missed attacks. And it's just a standard perk. It was in the game released. So
It's like a wraith perk or something.
Okay, I'm right. Unrelenting. It shows the wraiths. It shows the wraith's weapon, but it is an anyone perk available to everyone.
All right, that's why I was associating it with him.
And that's why I had to go look it up, because I was picturing it in my mind, and I was picturing the wraith's weapon, and I'm like, wait a second, is that one of his perks? So I questioned my own knowledge there.
It was a little weird though.
Maybe Unrelenting with the buff added on to Save the Best for Last was too much, and they ended up nerfing it to remove that extra added buff, because it does not do that anymore.
The obsession's speed for altruistic actions are increased, but if the obsession is killed, other survivors are punished as repairing, sabotaging, and healing takes longer.
The obsession's altruistic behaviors are increased. That was the first part of it.
Mm-hmm.
The second part of it was, if the obsession is killed, the other survivors
Are
punished for them being dead and have a debuff to all of their actions.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that that's how the perk works, can you imagine how people played? Just trying to like open you up and get you to kind of understand some more of the game mechanics. Can you imagine how killers played when they brought that perk?
They would tunnel out the obsession.
Exactly. So in the past with Dying Light, you had to do absolutely 100% everything to keep your obsession alive.
Okay, I can see that.
As a survivor, I mean, you had to keep your obsession alive. So the killer's got Dying Light. That obsession hides. If they are found, your teammates go in and they try to keep them from being downed. So it had its counter, which was survivors being overly altruistic and getting the obsession out of there. But the perk itself encouraged the killers to camp and tunnel. And because survivors complained about that, they changed it. So today, every time you hook someone who is not your obsession,
Okay.
you gain a token. That token applies a debuff to any survivor who is not the obsession. And it stacks. So 2 tokens adds additional, 3 tokens additional. It can get crazy if the killer has all stacks. It will take you forever to do a generator. The obsession during this time has a positive buff to all of their actions: healing, saving, generators. I don't know about sabotage, but they have a buff, while their teammates will get a debuff every time that one of them is killed. When the obsession is killed, the perk deactivates. So the killer doesn't want to kill their obsession in that case.
Okay.
Now, with that being said, the gameplay kind of changed. Like in the past, I said the obsession would hide, try not to be found. You would do everything to protect them. So now with the perk, the obsession is supposed to go and take those hits and be in the killer's face and be like, neater, neater, neater. So that's how the gameplay around that perk has changed in the time, because what it does has changed so drastically. It essentially did a 180 and flip-flopped.
Wow. I had no idea.
You can keep playing with an obsession as you chase them. You can even let them go. If your obsession escapes, your movement speed is increased. Every hunter needs a prey, a poor soul that doesn't suspect a thing. Not until the blade goes in.
That's pretty much how it works today. I think in the case where he hit them and they ran away, that would actually not happen today, because hitting your obsession, maybe it didn't happen and maybe it was something that they changed.
Okay.
Because today, if you hit your obsession, you lose tokens.
Okay.
So with Play With Your Food, you chase your survivor, you run away, you go look for other survivors, maybe you find your obsession again, and you chase them for a little bit, you let them get away, and you get a second stack. Your movement speed as a killer is increasing. Now, if they hit their obsession, that will take away one stack or maybe all stacks. I'd have to look it up. But it takes away stacks, so you don't want to actually hit your obsession. And hitting another survivor takes away your stacks too, but you want to hit the other survivor. That's why you got yourself sped up. The downside is, while you're doing this and you're playing with your obsession, if the obsession is the only one in front of you, the other people are on gens, so you don't want to kind of chase after them, let them escape, chase after them, let them escape, because you're giving the other survivors a lot of time to do gens, because it will take a while for you to actually get the survivor escaped prompt. Our Lori,
She's different.
the way she used to look.
Very different. She looks more like the daughter in the
Typical teen.
later movies
A girl with a loving family
than the
and
original
friends.
Lori.
She might have asked for something else as they turned into dusk, but not what came. The only thing she learned about herself after a family reunion was that she had vigor and perseverance, and that just might keep her alive. Lori comes with 3 perks. Last Survivor is the first one. Last Survivor is, in a way, morbid, as your chances of survival increase when other survivors die. For each dead survivor, you'll be harder to find, as the killer's aura reading ability is disrupted.
So they've changed it now. It's not called Last Survivor anymore. It's called Sole Survivor.
Soul Survivor, okay.
And it has something else now. They've buffed it a little bit now, in that if you are the last survivor standing, your generator repair speed is increased by 75%.
Oh my.
And your opening speed of the exit gates and the hatch are increased by 50%. So they've buffed it quite a bit.
A bit. Just a bit. Holy cow.
That is very fast. So actually thinking about that, I think you could potentially use that to get that really difficult challenge. There is a challenge within the game, an achievement or a trophy. It's called trophies on PlayStation and achievements on Steam. To be the last survivor alive, meaning everyone else has to be dead, then you have to complete the last generator. And then you have to escape through the exit gates, not the hatch. So very, very specific in that. And that perk would be amazing to get that done. When I'm getting my achievements on PC, that's how I'm going to get it.
Oh my.
Lori is grabbed by the killer. She stabs at him with whatever she can find. If it's successful, she'll manage to run away.
That skill check! Please give me that skill check back!
It's huge.
As Lori is grabbed by the killer, she stabs at him with whatever she can find. If it's successful, she'll manage to run away.
Look how huge that skill
The
check
final
is.
perk
Okay, pause
is-
it.
That was enormous.
All right. That skill check. That is like
I have to get on that
an
screen.
autodidact skill check.
successful, she'll manage to run away at him with decisive strike. As
Where
Lori
is
is
it?
You wanna
grabbed by
pause
the
it on
killer,
it?
she
Yeah.
stabs at him with whatever she can find.
There. Right there.
Okay.
Look at that. It's like half the size of the thing.
That is like an autodidact skill check. It is not quite as autodidact isn't quite as big as that, but that is huge. That is half of the freaking circle.
I've never used autodidact, but
And all
jeez.
I get today is this little tiny sliver of a bar. Good God.
That, oh my, wow.
Okay.
My mind is blown. Look at that thing.
So the way that this perk had a counter by the killers, a counter that we absolutely hated the way it worked when I first started playing. Anytime the killer picked you up, if you were the obsession, you got the skill check prompt. Well, the first time you only got to use the perk once, but and by the way, hold on, sorry, lesson into DBD and decisive strike. If you do not try to hit the first skill check the first time that you're picked up, you can save the perk for the second time you're picked. So if you don't hit that first skill check, like if you don't hit the skill check, the decisive skill check, when he picks you up on your first down, you can save your decisive strike for the second time by not hitting that skill check.
Oh.
A lot of people don't know that, but that is a thing. Anyway, when I first started playing the game, whoever the obsession was would be what we call juggled. I've used that term a few times. You had a killer that was doing that to you the other day. And it's just you're picked up and you're dropped. You're picked up and you're dropped. So in the past, if you were dropped 4 times, you were released. So killers, to avoid decisive strike on the obsession, who would get the prompt anytime they were picked up, they would pick them up, take a step, drop them.
Okay.
Pick them up, take a step, drop them. To avoid that decisive skill check. And they would juggle them over to a hook, if there was a hook close enough.
Oh my.
So that's how decisive was countered by killers in the past. Now, for the obsession, they got the skill check as soon as they were picked up. If you were not the obsession, but you had decisive strike, because that's a thing. You can have decisive, but not be the obsession.
Right.
If that was the case, you had to wiggle to 35% before you would get that skill check. That's how it was when I first started playing. Or when they changed it. That's how it was.
Okay.
Today, if you are picked up within a minute of being on the ground, you have the ability to decisive strike the killer. Now, there is an exception in if the last generator is done, the perk is disabled.
The final perk is Object of Obsession.
Object of
This perk gives you benefits in the same way as the killer. If you become the killer's obsession, you can also spot the killer from afar, and therefore, hopefully avoid him. Haddonfield is forever doomed. Michael Myers will never take his mask off, and Laurie might not give up. From here on, a new chapter is being written, where you either get blood on your hands or blood pouring out of you.
Oh my god.
The last perk has been nerfed quite a bit because it used to be you could be the obsession. Oh my goodness, there were so many broken things with the Object of Obsession perk. In the past, you could see people if they were in lockers. So if I got in a locker, you could see my aura if you were downed. Today, you can't, right? Well, in the past, if I was in a locker, I could see people on the hook, etc. If I brought Object of Obsession and I stood in a locker, I could see the killer's aura, but he couldn't see mine because I was in the locker.
Okay.
And I could hop off a generator when the perk was ready to activate, get in the locker and say, oh, the killer's over here to my team. And then get back out and get back on my gen. So the perk was broken.
Look, little bit of
And
a situation there.
they've changed several things since then. Like there have been several little things that have changed to correct all of that situation. Like you can't see people in lockers now, and people in lockers can't see anyone out of them, which makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
But dang, it was fun.
Yeah, I can see where that would have been fun, but not necessarily fair.
So they've done that to help fix it. And now they've also added in where, so this would also work for stealth killers. You could see a wraith while he was cloaked. You could see a pig that was crouched. You could see Michael Myers when he was in tier 1.
Oh my.
But now they've applied statuses to the killers called undetectable. So they added the undetectable status to stealth killers when they were in stealth. So it applies to Michael Myers in tier 1. It applies to crouched pig. It applies to cloaked wraith.
Okay.
Hidden ghosty.
Mm-hmm.
Killer who is bringing
Here.
Insidious. That's the one I'm thinking of. So if a killer brings Insidious, what that perk does is if they stay still for 3 seconds, they lose their terror radius and become undetectable.
Yeah.
So you won't see a killer who is undetectable with Insidious. Now it's put so if the killer can see your aura, you can see the killer's aura. That's how it works now.
Okay. Gotcha.
It's been nerfed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But if you combine it with another perk, you can kind of give it some of the old abilities. There's still a way to make it broken, but it takes 2 perk slots now instead of just 1.
Okay. I gotcha. Interesting.
And that's the end of Education by Daylight.